y'all, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're doing a recap of Tyler Perry's Sistas season 2 episode 21, Where the Heart Is. Now, before we jump into this video, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and also feel free to like the video if you do and drop a comment down below. So let's jump into this video. So Aaron saw from last episode what we saw. Yes, he did. He saw his girl, Karen, after he was just talking about going out to dinner, being held up against the wall, getting her freak on with Mr. Zach. And the crazy thing about it is Zach was like, close the door, close the door. He was trying to get it in and get it done and get it finished. But, you know, poor Aaron. That was so unfortunate that he got to see that. But yeah, looked like Zach was trying to put in some work for real. But they talking about this spell that they have on each other. First of all, Karen talking about what is this spell you have on me? And he was like, wait a minute, me too. You know, I mean, they kept going back and forth about where they at. And, you know, you can tell that there's definitely some unfinished business between these two. She haven't really wrapped her head around this. Plus, she's been celibate a while with the pastor because he's not having sex. She's wanting it. She ain't had it. And here comes that. So, yeah, I mean, she's trying to process all of this. Trying to fix him up so he can go out looking presentable. Ain't nothing presentable that's going to look any differently walking out that door on the walk of what y'all just did. So Pam is watching this whole thing unfold. She is so funny, you know, and she was like, you know, I can stick around and I can clean up and everything. And, you know, Zach is on his way out the door. He ain't saying nothing. You know, Pam trying to talk to him because, of course, Pam is nosy as usual. Aaron is sitting there licking his wounds because, wait, he's not licking his wounds because he said he's not hurt. But anywho, you know, she's trying to be right in the middle of this thing. Pam is nosy posy. In the meantime, she's trying to help this man get his phone so, you know, she can give it back to him, which is the main reason he came back. So now let's talk about this conversation between Aaron and Karen. Did Karen actually expect Aaron to just be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I just caught you having sex with your ex, but we can get past this? No. He was like, what do you expect me to say? You need some space to figure this thing out. And he's saying, what did you think? I wasn't enough for you? I wasn't giving you all you need? I try to be that man, to be the one that you need and don't give you pain. And she like, I need it all. And I guess she was referring to sex. And she's like, does that make me a bad person because I want it all? And Aaron was like, you know what? Nope. It makes you human. You know, and he can't even fault her for that. But this is something that she should have thought of. Is she going to be able to deal with the full package or lack thereof of not having everything that this man can provide at this time? He's not willing to compromise his values. And at the same time, you know, she's a person that's sexually active. So, I mean, she definitely needs to process her feelings with this. And I'm glad he said he's not hurt, but he's allowing her to process all of this. Now, the interesting thing is, with Aaron, how they met came out of a situation of his ex-wife. His ex-wife committed suicide on her own floor in the parlor. So, I mean, take it as you will. These two started off in a way that wasn't right either. But at the same time, I do understand where Aaron's coming from, you know. But I also understand the fact that, you know, Karen has to be true to herself, but she shouldn't do it this way. You know, you don't go and sleep with your ex because you're not getting it from the current dude. Y'all need to sit down and have a conversation about that and figure all that out. So, like he said, I'm going to leave you be because you need to process this. And she does. She needs to process her feelings that she have left over after dealing with, you know, Zach. And, you know, it's a lot of anger there, you know, but of the history that they have. But yeah, I don't blame Aaron. So now let's talk about these two girls, Dani and Sabrina. And Dani, as usual, is like, you need to give me a ride because it's going to save gas. Because I ain't trying to put no gas and pay for no gas. So you should give me a ride. Anywho, Sabrina like, look, I got a life. I got stuff to do. And of course, Dani giving her the side eye like, yeah, right, what you got to do? And she's like, oh, well, I'm thinking about going out with Jacoby. And so, she's like, okay, all right. But, and then Sabrina's like, but, and then, okay, she's like, I know you're not talking about Panty Man again. And Sabrina said, he, don't call him that. He is not the Panty Man. But in the meantime of all this conversation, Sabrina's phone rang, and it's the credit card fraud department letting her know that it was a woman with the video surveillance that they have that signed off on using Karen's credit card. Now, the thing is, as we all know from the previous episode, Karen accused Zach, had him thrown in jail, and here we are. Even after that, she still slept with him. However, they got the email footage. They looked at the email footage, and sure enough, come to find out it was a woman looking like somebody in Karen's clientele. And by the look on Dani's face, she can't wait to tell Karen how wrong she was for what she did, because Dani was definitely one of those ones saying, I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it. So we'll see when the girls get together. So meanwhile, over at Calvin and Maurice's place, Maurice walked in while Calvin is doing his ironing and was trying to speak to Calvin, and Calvin was not giving him the time of day at all. He's not speaking to him. He's ignoring him. And Maurice is like, I know you're not going to not speak to me in my house. And Calvin was like, I pay rent here, so I can basically do what I want. And Maurice was like, wait. I rent to you in my own personal space. I thought that was hilarious. But he was like, why did you tell that girl those things? Why did you have to tell her that? And he said, well, it was the fact that he thought because of the fact he was in there with a man and the fact that it wasn't him, or why couldn't it be him? And he said, Maurice, I told you I wasn't gay. And he was like, I know, but it's just the fact that I thought that was going on and you didn't choose me. And Maurice was like, well, you and Sabrina, do y'all think y'all get back together? And he was like, no, because I don't want to inflict that type of headache on myself. I just want to be in a committed relationship. And what she want is a thug. And probably the thug that's behind the counter at the bank. And I'm like, Calvin, you don't know if that dude is a thug. You just assuming he's a thug because he got tattoos. But anyway, Calvin is definitely feeling some kind of way about that dude. But at the same time, he's trying to say, I don't want to talk about her. I don't want to think about her. And Maurice is like, well, why you keep bringing her up? You can't stop talking about her. And so, Calvin was like, well, I was minding my business. And I just need you to just keep people out of my room who ain't supposed to be there. I pay rent for this. By the way, he also mentioned about Jacoby, that he's probably casing the joint and all of this. And I'm like, dude, really? You just mad because you know you want to be with Sabrina. But the fact of the matter is that because Sabrina do have her issues with this situation, y'all at a stalemate. And y'all just throwing stones at each other pretty much. But what was so funny is he said, just keep people out of my room. I'm paying rent here. And Calvin was like, yeah, The thing is, you wasn't even trying to worry about whether or not trying to be with me. You was over there spilling the tea with your friends or with Sabrina, telling them about what you thought was going on in your house. That's what you was doing. And Maurice was like, no, that's not it at all. I mean, honestly, I actually, thought differently. And, I totally get where Calvin is. I mean, if you're paying rent somewhere, you don't want to have all other folks all up in your house or in your room, So I totally get that. And the fact that, Maurice didn't take the key back from Bootsy. Bootsy felt he could just come on in anytime thinking that he still had a place there. So, I mean, I understand, that would be anybody. You don't want somebody just coming up, staying up in your room and doing whatever. But, Calvin basically ended it like, look, just keep folks out of my room. I'm paying you money. And he was like, Maurice, well, while you getting mad, hopefully they didn't leave vibrators in your room, you booty boy, and gave the buzzing sound as he was going to his room. I said, Maurice is a fool. So it looks like after the whole thing with Karen, Zach decided to go and work his second job. Fatima's been looking for him and been trying to call him. And he says that he didn't hear his phone. He's been busy. And she's like, oh, okay, I understand. So she shows up and give him this bag that's stacked. And he looked in there and it was 25 G's. And he like, wait a minute, is this legal? I mean, shoot, somebody walked up and gave me $25,000 in a bag. I'll be wondering that as well. But she was like, no, it's legal. I just wanted to hand it to you myself. And the thing is that you don't have to work on this house no more because of the fact that investors have already purchased it. And I just wanted to come and tell you myself, here you go. You work hard. You can now take this money and do what you want. But then she was like, hold up a second. You need to get that back. And I was like, what? She was like, well, you need to invest the money. Eventually, you're going to keep investing until you get to 100 G's. Now, the thing is, I'm all about investing, but can he at least keep half of it? No, she said 5,000. Because he wants to buy a house or get a place to stay. And she said, well, 5,000 should be enough. But, maybe only take two. And he was like, what do you mean take two? 2,000 ain't going to buy no house. And she was like, well, you just keep the 2,000 in your pocket and you can come stay with me. And then she pop up with these keys. And he like, okay. And of course, he in the back of his mind is trying to figure this whole thing out because now he didn't slept with Karen. So now he's wondering if he's back going her direction now. But, Fatima is like, but it's only, how about 8 to 10 months? And he's like, 8 to 10 months. And then, Fatima was like, yeah, then if you want to buy a house, you'll have a lot more money then. And he was like, okay, cool. My thing is he needs to make his decisions for himself, and I understand that she's trying to help him, but he got to also figure out a way to think for himself. And so, for her to say, you need to invest this, you need to stay here, you need to do this, and you need to do that. It's one thing to give guidance, but at the same time, he should be able to try to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. At least give suggestions. It was more of her trying to direct him, it seems. That's just my take. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But, he was like, well, I'll just see you. Well, she said, I'll just see you at home. And he was like, okay. And she's like, I mentioned the word home because we are now living together, But the crazy thing about it, she asked for a goodbye kiss from him, and he gave her a kiss on the forehead. And Fatima is looking at him with a side eye like, okay, what's going on with you? Because I would be wondering the same thing because Zach is usually a little bit more, when it comes to her. But Fatima brushed it off and he was dancing all the way home with 25 G's in his pocket. So let's head over to Andy's place. And Andy is over there talking to Mr. Gary. And of course, they are beaming, excited because they're talking about engagement and getting married. And they had a hard day basically due to Jasmine, which is his ex-wife. But Andy was like, nope, no more talk about ex-wives. Let's talk about us. And so Andy brought up one of the things in the conversation about his jealousy. She don't like how he gets so easily jealous. And, the fact that, every time, something, a man is around her or somebody looking at her the wrong way, he gets jealous. Gary said, you know what, I'm getting counseling for my jealousy, but we need to do couples counseling. And, the thing is, he kind of brushed past that, but then the conversation did come back up. And the crazy thing about it is, he was like, yeah, I really truly think you need to get some counseling. And the look on Andy's face when you see her, it was like,
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
yeah, she was like, what do you mean I need some counseling? And so he was definitely trying to tiptoe around his answer, which was, that she flirts a lot and that she liked to gain reactions from men and attention from men. And, that brings a reaction out of him. And he says, what do you expect? And you need to work on that. And that's the thing you need to deal with in counseling. Ladies, let me know what you think about what he said to Andy. She found it kind of offensive. She said, I got a brain in my head. I work hard to get what I got. And that sound low-key offensive, what you said to me. And in that regard. And he was like, that's not what I'm trying to do. But I just want you to take notice of that. And it seems that she definitely paid attention to it because she now considers herself engaged. And that they both going to work on these issues and they're going to work on them and go to counseling together. At first, she felt like she don't need counseling. Now she need counseling, in that moment. But now she considers officially engaged. Gary is happy. He kissed her on the ring finger and everything. And she's just beaming in this relationship that she's in. To me, with everything that she's went through, with the exes, almost losing her career, I don't know. It's something she needs to think about it. But I'm not the only one saying that. Her girl showed up. They was like, we need to talk, especially Sabrina. Sabrina was leading the charge on this. And then it was so funny because Dani was trying to convince Gary to stay because he needs to hear all this. Sabrina was like, nope, I need you to leave. And it just went this back and forth and back and forth. I think he needed to leave, because there's no way that conversation was going to go well with 4 women and 1 dude in the room. So they finally got him to leave, even though Sabrina and Dani was still going back and forth about this thing. And, Gary was like, you know what, I'm out. I don't want no parts of this. So he left. So Sabrina, of course, led the charge in this whole thing about the fact that not only is Gary at the house, but the fact that you need to stop, especially with this engagement. And of course, Dani is like, you know what? I'm staying out of this. This girl gonna do what she gonna do. And Karen's quiet. She ain't saying nothing. She just sitting in that corner, just listening. And that, Sabrina looking at that ring with a side eye, and Dani told Andy, you know what, shoot, that ring right there. And then Dani says something else crazy, talking about if you gonna get beat up, get paid for it. Yeah, that was definitely insensitive. And the girls talked about the fact that women are suffering from domestic violence, and Dani was like, well, I'm just playing. I'm like, girl, you don't play with nothing like that. But, Dani definitely, was like, you know what, I'm going to stay out of it. If this is what she wants to do, this is what she gonna do. You're not going to be able to change their mind. And, of course, that's happening in a couple of public situations. I don't know if you watch Married at First Sight, you know who I'm talking about, and what you've seen in the public eye with a certain relationship guru and their spouse is that when people get to choose who they're going to be with, it don't matter what you say or what you do, the decision is theirs. They're going to do what they want to, whether you scream, holler, and turn blue in the face. So that's what's also happening here as we go back to the show when it comes to Andy. She's not going to do anything different unless she chooses to. It's her choice. So, and that's what Dani's saying. However, Karen is still quiet. And Andy called her out because she said, I know exactly why she quiet, because she can't judge me. And it's probably about Zach and the fact that she still love him. And so, of course, Karen gave the deets on what happened at her salon. And the fact that he came over talking about the credit card fraud, and one thing led to another. Zach touched her and clothes came off, and Aaron came in and she got busted. And the girls were shocked. And they was looking like, especially Sabrina. Dani and Andy was like, Andy is like, you can't judge me. And Dani was like, yeah, well, wait till I tell you what else has happened. But before that, Karen admitted to the fact that she still loves Zach and she wants him. And obviously Aaron told her to give us some time to process it. She must have processed it real quick to realize that she wants Zach. And then we hear Andy talking about how nobody knows him but me, and the fact that y'all see the bad of him, not the good, which I see. And Sabrina dropped some jewels saying, all you know is that you slept with a married man who goes home to his wife and didn't know the everyday Gary. And that was facts. And so, and Dani was like, oh, girl, Sabrina, you sound like me right now. That's something I would say. And I'm like, yeah, she spoke some truth, though. But the girls end up talking about how they're going to finish talking about they men. Karen gave Dani the side eye, saying about how she want to talk about Cowboy. And I'm like, Karen, really? Let that girl be happy. But at the end, they all got together and they decided to go and get some snacks and at the grocery store and everything. So let's talk about this grocery store. So, ladies head over to the grocery store. They get a whole lot of snacks because they got a lot to talk about it and a lot to discuss with these men's and things. And as they were coming around the corner talking about Zach, which was Karen, we see Fatima coming around the corner talking about, did I hear you say something about Zach? And they was like, oh, hey, girl, I didn't know you shop here. And so she said, yeah, but I heard y'all talk about Zach. And then at this point, this is where the girls are kind of like, okay, what's going on? Why are you asking about Zach? Oh, yeah, you got a new boo, Fatima, right? And the conversation came up about her sleeping with her ex Zach, meaning Karen. And so, Fatima picking all this up. At the meantime, Mr. Zach is coming around that corner and he saw Fatima talking to Karen and those girls, and
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Yeah, Zach, you did. Because you ain't tell your girl Fatima what happened with Karen, and Karen don't know you've been dating somebody that she know as being Miss Fatima. And yeah, I think he hightailed it out of there real quick. And both of the girls were looking crazy because Fatima was looking like, you too, huh? So we'll definitely see what happened in the season finale next week. So let's do our post notification shout out. If you want to be shouted out, drop a comment down below. I will see you and shout you out. The first one goes to Miss Kim Williams. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel. I really appreciate your comment. And then next we have Kimberly Reese. Thank you as well for engaging in the channel. I enjoyed your comments as well. And last but not least, Miss Kelly Stewart. Thank you as well for your comment. I really appreciate it. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying the videos. I know I started late with the Sistas season. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.